Welcome to Community Crypto on CoinDesk TV, where we are building a global community with local crypto groups. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson, and every week we'll explore how crypto is creating and impacting various communities around the world. This week, we are visiting the Windy City to meet with the Southside Blockchain Group and discuss crypto in Chicago. Today, I have some special guests who have dedicated themselves to educating and empowering the local Chicago community. Our guests today are Darren Hurd, an experienced leader with a demonstrated history of success in community engagement and is currently focused on Chicago's growing blockchain industry with Southside Blockchain. We have LaTaevia Berry, who is a software engineer who focuses her work on the intersection of emerging technologies and music monetization. And we have Ron Daniels, an IT professional expert in security, compliance, and information management. And he's also a co-founder of Southside Blockchain with LaTaevia Berry and Darren Hurd. Thank you all for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah. Glad to have you all. So let's talk. So first, I want to ask each of you individually, what was your initial introduction into crypto? And I want to start with you, LaTaevia. What was the initial spark that got you into crypto and into blockchain technology?
In 2014, I was self-teaching software engineering, and I was practicing command line commands. And I came across a forum that was talking about mining and about Bitcoin, which I had never heard of. So I just went ahead and tried the tutorial that they provided, and that was my first introduction to blockchain, to crypto, to Bitcoin, all of it in one.
Beautiful. And what about you, Darren? What was your foray into the crypto industry?
Well, before crypto, way back in 2013, 2014, I was in network marketing. I used to sell coffee, and I went to a coffee shop with a guy, and he stepped up to the register and he paid for his coffee, and he asked the clerk, "Do you all accept Bitcoin?" And it just kind of sparked my mind. I looked at him, he pulled out his phone, the clerk pulled out her phone, and they just started typing numbers. You know, it's like they were exchanging via the wallet, and it was just a mind-blowing experience. So I had to ask him, I was like, what's Bitcoin? He just said, hey, you should just look into it, man. It's really interesting. So fast forward 3 years later, I'm in an entrepreneurship workshop because I used to do sexual health wellness workshops with youth. And yes, people was talking about possible investments for you. And he said, he brought up Bitcoin again. So that sparked my mind as well. Then I went on Facebook and asked people about it. And lo and behold, I had a phone call with Ron Daniels. And then it just went on from there.
Oh yeah, so third time's the charm for you, definitely. And Ron, how did you get into the space?
So I learned about crypto in 2016. I was at DePaul University taking a scripting class, and in that class we were just going over different forms of scripting in infinite loops. And the teacher mentioned Ethereum as a scripting language. Well, the outcome of a scripting language was Ethereum, and how you can use that to parlay into building different apps and dApps and things of that nature. And I said, oh, okay, cool. It was a blurb, but then I got into it. And then from there, I learned about Bitcoin, the granddaddy of them all.
Oh yeah, I love it, and so many different ways to get into the market. Like you said, started out with software engineer, learned about it from Facebook, all these different ways. I love it. So let's get right into it. What was the inception of the Southside Blockchain Group? How did it get started? If you could let us know, Darren or Ron.
Well,
it was that phone call.
It was actually going to different events, and I live on the south side of Chicago, and it's just like getting off of work from the far south side and traveling downtown or traveling to the north side to these events, which were great, like seeing Andreas Antonopoulos and James Bloq and different guest speakers, and people are movers and shakers in Chicago. But that amount of time that it took to get from the far south side to downtown, find a parking spot, get there, get to the event, then travel back home was really time consuming. And plus, I didn't see many people who looked like us, who came from our backgrounds. It was just really a certain demographic of people who were there who just weren't in our community. And I just knew people need to learn about this. People really need to learn about this. So it was like one day in 2018, Ron and I were at an event with Andreas Antonopoulos, and I just posted a video of Andreas speaking. I'm just like, hey, maybe we should start a meetup group on the South Side. Who wants to join in? And that's when LaTaevia was like, hey, I'm in, call me up. And we just had that, super secret phone call about what we're going to do and who we're going to target. And, the community's going to love us for this. And it was like rah moment. And that momentum's been up ever since.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And how many members are currently a part of the Southside Blockchain Group? Would you say?
About 100.
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely. And it starts from the inception of you just thinking it, and now you have hundreds of people in the group. I love it. And specifically, what programs does the Southside Group provide for local residents? Could you tell us, LaTaevia?
Certainly. So we've done some blockchain programming. We've done intro to crypto. We've done intro to investing. We've done a lot of one-on-one stuff, essentially. We've done best practices for investing so that people are not just kind of like jumping on board when they see dips or abandoning ship when, things get rough. We've had you on as well. So authors. Essentially, see, essentially, it's just a meeting of the minds. So a lot of the people in the group come with their own sets of information. We try to make sure that everything we provide is verified, validated, good quality material. Some of it even comes from CoinDesk. So there's that.
Oh yeah, love it. Always good to have a CoinDesk shout out. But yes, I love the programs. You have to have a bevy of programs to keep people interested, right? And one
That's
of the
true.
things that exactly one of the things you have to do is present specific programs that address the specific problems of your community. So, what are some of these specific problems that you all are addressing with these programs?
So for me, the biggest one is just having access to quality information. So when we started in
Hmm.
2017, you had the whole ICO bubble, and because of that, a lot of people were giving people bad information just to take advantage of people. So what we did was that we came into the space and said, "Hey, think of cryptocurrency as a technology, not as a way to make money." And
Yeah.
we showed the ways that this technology will improve life, whether it was from banking, whether it was from sharing of information, medical records, tracking the supply chain, food supply, and even just even looking at it from the standpoint of being able to code and think of other ways to be involved in the space, whether it's uh, compliance work, whether it's marketing, and things of that nature. So we wanted to expand the information that was available uh, to our part of the city. And generally speaking, this information was available downtown and the north side of Chicago. But like Darren said, if you work a 9 to 5 and you get home and you're tired, and then let's say you have a family, you're not going to trek back out to the north side to get that information. So we just made it readily available where people can come out, and we had board members from a number of different coins come out. We had like a lot of high powered great people who volunteered their time to help us out and just to get the message out there. So I've been really thankful for that. And then just between the three of us, we've been able to just teach and educate uh, individuals. So it's been really good. Just the once people hear that what we're doing and that we're not charging people and we're not, well, we really have a solid message. Uh, we usually get a lot of support.
Absolutely. And Darren, would you like to follow up with that? What specific problems are you all solving with the Southside Blockchain Group?
Well, the demographics of the leadership in Chicago, like I said, don't really come from our communities. So a lot of people feel like they're priced out of the industry because to be a member of some other groups, it costs hundreds of dollars per month. You know, annual fees can reach up to 4 figures or even 5 figures for some of these other groups. And so that can kind of destroy their self-esteem to like not even want to get involved. Or they might even think that, man, I can't pay $50,000 for a Bitcoin. But how many of them even know that you don't have to buy one Bitcoin? You could break it all down. Even teaching them the value of dollar cost averaging. You know, showing them resources instead of buying other books from people, they can buy your book because it's so relatable. So I just think that the relationship to blockchain can be from the urban community, and it can have a level of pro-blackness and a level of unity from our own community where all the resources that you need, all the info that you need can come from straight your community to you.
Right. And it's really a lack of information, education, not the lack of work, right? Because people will get into this industry and do the work, they just never heard of it. And in Chicago, which is notoriously a segregated city, how do you think Bitcoin and blockchain technology can unite people from all different backgrounds, Darren?
Well, just having that level of wisdom, having that level of education is going to unite. You know, if we don't speak the same language in terms of business and technology, then we're not going to relate to one another. However, if we know about speaking Bitcoin, Ethereum, even knowing how to code the blockchain, that's going to unite people because it shows that you speak my language. I know what you're talking about. We can do business. We can develop on team. We can possibly collaborate for a project. All of that. So it breaks down those barriers right then and there.
Oh yeah, and racial barriers, even barriers with sex. So, LaTaevia, what have you seen with women in Chicago? Has there been an increase in women in Chicago getting into the blockchain space?
I for sure have seen an increase in our membership as far as women are concerned. We've had people come in and on discussions for how to properly secure your crypto. They've already been like fully prepared. They know about, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. They know about all sorts of wallets. They know about protecting their keys. They're coming into the situation with a background and ready to learn more information.
Love it. And March is Women's Empowerment Month, so of course we had to discuss that. And the good thing about this industry, it unites everybody. Like you said, Darren, we speak the same language.
Yeah.
We can all be united. But let's also move in age. You know, usually adults are the ones that talk about finances. What types of things will Southside Blockchain Group possibly do for local kids who want to learn about this technology?
So one of the things that we did great, yeah, I was going to say that we gamified cryptocurrency, and we partnered with Loom Network, and we taught crypto zombies back in October, and we partnered with a local community center, and you know, rented the place out. We bought pizza, and we taught the kids how to code using crypto zombies. And then also there's the gamification part of it, and then there's the technology part where we interact with mobile tools. So the name that I was trying to think of was Joe Rent, and he was a board member of the IOTA Foundation. And part of what they do and what he does is new mobility. So having interconnected devices speak with each other. So for example, I have to use Apple as an example. Apple products are interconnected with each other and they speak. So it's like a seamless going from the computer to your phone, to your watch, to your Apple speaker. That's all thought of, and that's all part of mobility. And there's different forms of cryptocurrencies and especially with IOTA, distributed ledger technology that speaks to those mobile devices, whether it's a smart light bulb, whether it's even just programming the lights in your room to the dance or switch on and off to music. There's cool things that we can do using distributed ledger technology or even cryptocurrency technology.
Yeah, I was going to say,
if they don't, got it.
I was going to say most definitely the NFT is a very hot topic right now. I know I joked about us releasing our mixtape, which has been a running joke within our group, but there's people going around Chicago who want to rap and they want to, become successful entertainers. So once the COVID, social distancing breaks down, we got to host a meetup group about NFTs to our youth who can use hip hop or rapping or anything like that to release their next album as an NFT. And you never know, it can blow up. You probably got Chief Keef in the waiting, just waiting to release an NFT, and they can be successful from that. You just never know who you'll meet in Chicago with the youth. And I know LaTaevia has a clothing line. So one of the cool things about blockchain is that it's a whole entire ecosystem. You may not be technically savvy to have an impact on the industry. You could release some more T-shirts or something like that. So, it's the whole industry where anything is possible for anybody to just leverage their skills and talents.
Yes, indeed. And of course, with kids, if you can have gamification of crypto, you can teach them about things like IOTA, of course, and introduce NFTs. And at the very least, if they don't listen, they at least get some free pizza, right? So I love the fact that you're doing that for the children in the community. But I want to dig deeper into the NFTs because for creators in your community, this is an awesome opportunity. And LaTaevia, I would love to hear more about with music and your clothing line, how NFTs can impact that.
So a basic use case would be for me to just simply apply an NFT to the shirts that I already have. I only am making like 5 of each. Depending on the shirt and depending on the colors, I might make 10 if we need to like vary out the colors. But there's a uniqueness to each shirt. Each shirt is made by a designer, and each of those designers is coming up with these designs, from their own head. The inspiration may come from me, but like, the creativity is coming from them. And so to be able to have this one of a kind piece under my brand, but also by these very unique designers is something that can not only be a monetization stream, but also can just build up their reputation for the creativity that they're putting out into the world.
Oh yeah, love it. And Ron, did you want to mention or discuss NFTs as well in your community?
Yeah, definitely. So I remember when NFTs were popular, became popular back in 2017 with the crypto bunnies and how it was clogging up the network. Crypto kitties, yes. And it was clogging up the network, and they were selling for exorbitant amounts of money, and people said, "Oh, this won't lead to anything." Look now, it's 4 years later, and there's been so many use cases built off of non-fungible transactions. And just for your audience to know, with Bitcoin, it's a fungible transaction, meaning that even though each Bitcoin is unique, you can exchange one Bitcoin for another Bitcoin and it'll be worth the same amount. But with non-fungible transactions, it's a unique piece of software or a unique piece of, that can represent art or whatever unique item that you have. And it's so unique that you can't exchange it for anything, that it has its own value set. So because of that, the whole world has opened up. Artists with their unique sound and their unique product can create NFTs and put it out on the market, and the customers can go out and they can purchase those using cryptocurrency, and you could have a valuable piece of artwork that you can hold on to just because you enjoy that artist. And it may go up in value, but the real value is that you're participating in a sales exchange directly with the artist, and you cut out the middleman, and you're supporting the community. So that's the real value in NFT. It allows individuals to be creative. It allows individuals to have control over their content, and it allows the consumers to participate directly with the creators.
Yes, and NFTs, you get residual income from it. Again, like you said, with art, with music, with anything that you want to apply. And I also want to get into another subject that affects communities like the Southside blockchain, DeFi, which has been a lot of talk lately, decentralized finance. So Darren, how do you see decentralized finance impacting your community specifically with Southside Blockchain Group?
It can definitely help as far as an investment mechanism. It can definitely help for people who have local businesses. They have issues trying to get a loan from one of these established banks. I think that the more education that we spread around DeFi with accurate resources and accurate information, because DeFi is booming, but of course underneath that there is a dark side to it. Some people may lose their crypto, some accounts may be hacked, but people who are launching businesses and trying to get themselves off the ground, they can raise digital capital instead of traditional capital to get the business going. Especially the interest on the crypto loans. I think that is a major player in the game right now for people in our community.
Absolutely.
I mean, even when the government first talked about stimulus funding for the American people, one of the initial things they wrote into the bill, which didn't stay, was creating a digital dollar in order to get funds out to the American people in a faster method. So DeFi is real, DeFi is happening, and it'll behoove us to learn about it.
Oh yeah, and LaTaevia, what are you thinking as well with the DeFi in the Southside Blockchain Group?
To second what Darren and Ron are saying, there is a disparity between how African American people are issued lending and how they're being reached whenever resources are made to be available. So DeFi definitely creates a solution for that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it gets rid of a lot of the discrimination we've seen and a lot of the traditional banking practices. So DeFi is definitely something that can be used in your community. Love it. And I want to finish up here with one question each of you can answer. It's the year 2040. 19 years, 20 years from now, we may have flying cars, maybe on Mars. But for crypto, Darren first, where do you see crypto in 2040?
Where do I see crypto in 2040 is, instead of saying cash app it to me, instead of saying quick pay it to me, just say, Bitcoin it to me. And I also see probably the second or third generation of people who are, receiving crypto from their family members upon a will or a legacy. So it's definitely going to be a common way of life and a common knowledge and a common language throughout our community.
Beautiful. And LaTaevia, the year's 2040. Where's crypto? What are we doing?
I would like to answer this one in terms of blockchain, but in 40 years, I think that storing data won't just be a thing of, do we put it on Amazon Web Services, as much as it'll be, how do we make it immutable? How do we take this data, this information about deeds, about titles, about everything that's relevant in our society? How do we make it immutable? And we put it on the blockchain is the answer.
Beautiful. And Ron, 2040. What you got, brother?
2040. In 2040, I believe we will stop calling Bitcoin Bitcoin and refer to it in terms of Satoshis, because it'll be that widely adopted that Bitcoin will be known as Satoshis.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and I've heard people say they want $1 to equal one Satoshi at some point. That's not far off, people. And as crazy as it seems, going from $0 to 50,000 is crazy. What you're talking about, Ron, isn't that far-fetched in 20 years. So once again, thank you for that, Ron. And thank you all for coming on to the show today. Darren, LaTaevia, Ron, I appreciate you for coming on Community Crypto today. And and once again, love what you're doing with Southside Blockchain Group, and I hope you continue to have success.
Sure, we got to have you back.
Thank you.
America too, man. We got to have you back.
Coming up next, we have two prominent leaders in the blockchain industry coming to us from Chicago. So stay tuned and make sure you watch us on Community Crypto on CoinDesk TV.
So financial news right now, and I would go back and take a step to the internet, where now we can see that people can self-publish, they can read do-it-yourself videos and learn about stock trading, sure. We're being inundated with information, and so we can choose how we want to consume news. Live, on demand, we can have it in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We're also being inundated, however, by a lot of misinformation out there. So it's ever the more important to have
Welcome back to Community Crypto on CoinDesk TV. This week, we're focused on the community in Chicago, and I'm joined by two leading voices in the blockchain industry. We have Phil Gomes, Chief Communications and Marketing Officer at Bloq. We have Michelle Renee, CEO of Informative Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, glad to have you both. So let's talk. First, I want to talk to you, Michelle. First, tell us a little bit about your company, Informative Services, and some of the things that they are doing in the Bitcoin and crypto space.
So Informative Services is a research and education company where we level the playing field through education. Why is that so important? Being in Wall Street, I found out the reason why people in my community, where I grew up in, underserved communities, weren't able to excel the way they should is because we did not know the information that's centralized among that fraction of 1%. And when you don't have good options, normally the outcome is not a good outcome. So when I found out about Bitcoin in 2008, and then, of course, it went public in 2009, I began to understand what it is and knew pretty much so believe the opportunities that it can have, especially with people such as in my underserved community. So again, Informative Services is a research and education company where we provide that good information, and that is how you truly level the playing field. And with this with Bitcoin and all the craze that people are the frenzy. The thing is, Bitcoin provides freedom, and especially if you have it in your own, that's key. We want to custody our assets. So understanding and having that information, that good information, and be able to disseminate it to my neighborhood and to my community is so key. And that is exactly what levels the playing field. We have had so much money thrown into communities such as mine, and you don't see that impact. You don't see the impact because we need good options. Good information brings good options. Even with social media platforms, Instagram, you attract what you're interested in. So they see what we're interested in, what we like, and things of that nature. And then they're able to, those algorithms come back in reference to the things that we like. So the thing is, we must get interested. We must attract those things and get that good information and implement it correctly. Okay. So informative services, we are basically teaching about blockchain, teaching about what Bitcoin is, how can you access it to have it in your own possession, how it can provide financial freedom and generational wealth, so we can close this generational this gap in reference to the poor and rich and middle class. So we have a lot of work to do, and that's what we're doing. And we're probably going to have another conference this year as well. You spoke at the conference. So it's all about education, good education. And so again, our people, anyone can be able to make some really good decisions.
Love it. Love it. And Phil, let us know what you are doing at Bloq and some of the things you have coming up in the future.
Sure, absolutely. So I serve as the Chief Communications and Marketing Officer of Bloq. We are 30-ish some odd people all over the globe doing an awful lot of great stuff. And we were actually founded here in Chicago. A lot of your viewers know Matthew Rozak, our chairman and founder, who was one of the earlier investors in cryptocurrency. And what do we do at Bloq? Principally two things. We do infrastructure, right? What are the roads, bridges, tunnels, shovels, pickaxes that it takes to access these new networks and what is essentially has become kind of a new gold rush. That's one side of the house. And then the other side of the house is the innovation studio piece, where we have a project called Titan, which is attempting to really do a better job of making mining more accessible and more successful, especially here in North America. And then also, a lot of your viewers are familiar with the red hot DeFi sector. And we had just launched Vesper Finance, our DeFi platform, which is essentially, if anybody's ever interacted with DeFi, they kind of recognize that it's very often difficult and cumbersome, that sort of thing. We make it as easy as selecting a fund in your 401k. Show up, to select strategy, select crypto, deposit, and you're off to the races. And I will say, allow me to beam with pride for a little bit here, but we just hit $500 million in total value locked as of yesterday. And, we are proving out the Vesper thesis of making DeFi more accessible and to more folks. So incredibly proud of that. And again, really, really excited about what the future holds in this space. I mean, to the point made earlier about essentially democratizing finance and what crypto can do to accelerate that.
Love it, love it. So we have, like you said, Vesper for the DeFi space, Titan. We have education from informative services. All of this is amazing for anybody trying to enter this industry. But I want to focus on Chicago because you're both based in the Chicago area. Right. So how can the city of Chicago benefit from the Bitcoin and blockchain industry? Michelle?
So as you may know, blockchain is blanketing this whole world. It's going to every sector. So I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care if you're a barber, a hairstylist. I don't care what it is. You can apply blockchain technology in reference to your micro niche. So blockchain technology gives so much, much opportunity. And the thing is, again, I go back to education, educating and giving good information. This is how we understand what this technology is, so we won't be taken advantage of. We've been taken advantage of a little bit too long, and we have to break that. And giving that good information, understanding what Bitcoin is, understanding blockchain technology is, forming a services e-learning dashboard where our members go and learn at their own pace, but they have access to my team where we answer. I don't care if it's 24/7. We have people from different parts of the world who are members. So if you have a question, I don't care how simple it is. We tell our members, I don't care how simple it is. Ask the question so you can be have that good information and to be able to apply it, and also teach your children, and then your children will be able to be taught as well. So good information leads to good education, and having that good information, and which requires really good research, which informative services, we are bar none in reference to real good research. Okay. So that's what I feel.
And I'm sure, absolutely. And I'm sure the city of Chicago appreciates that. Absolutely. And like you said, with kids and generationally with adults, you definitely want to have that good information. And Phil, what types of things have you seen that Bloq, as well as any other groups, can do to impact the city of Chicago?
If I had to point to one thing, it would be to take advantage of Chicago's rich history. I want to amplify a point Michelle made a little bit earlier about the fact that, it's hard to think of an industry that is not going to be impacted by this technology somehow. And to bring it down to Chicago, I'll start number one. Chicago is a place for financial innovation. I mean, the concept of derivatives was invented here in Chicago, number one. Number two, a lot of times when people talk about innovation in blockchain networks and uses and use cases, they not only talk about the financial piece, but they also talk about concepts like supply chain management and that sort of thing. Now, look at Chicago. In the Midwest, we are the hub of the American supply chain, the North American supply chain, from the air, from the land, and arguably water, right? Because you've got the Great Lakes, northern edge of the Mississippi River, et cetera. So taking advantage of all of that, I think, is very important, and that's why I think Chicago is uniquely positioned among major American cities. And then finally, with the incredible energy and enthusiasm for NFTs, and obviously people talking about projects like NBA Top Shot and that sort of thing. Chicago is the sports lovingest city of the United States. Fight me, Boston. And I think that is going to be the third leg of that stool. Is, again, you have our heritage as a financial innovator and as a financial hub, on top of our heritage as a logistics center, right, for physical goods, and then finally with sports. I mean, Chicago is just incredibly well poised to be a leading city, if not the leading city in North America, on that basis alone.
Oh yeah, and the sports wise, I'm so glad you brought that up. And I just want to ask, who's your team, Phil? Who's your Chicago teams? All of them?
I am a son of the East Bay, so I'm going to say the Oakland A's.
I thought you were Cubs. I thought you were Cubs and White Sox fan. What about?
I'm not a native. I'm not a native, but I am mean and green. So I'll throw it in for the Oakland Athletics for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that one. Michelle, what about you? Cubs fan, White Sox, Bulls fan?
Yeah, Cubs. I like the White Sox. I love our hockey team, Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan came from the Chicago Bulls. And I'm going to say something very bold. I think he's the best player that has ever been in the NBA. Okay. And when I
can't disagree.
It was really researching about NFTs. My mind went back to Michael Jordan, because when I think about NFTs, it's like a moment in time, a collectible, something just like Mr. Dorsey. He's basically had his first tweet, he's making as an NFT. Even with Michael Jordan, that famous tongue shot in the air, that can be definitely something that can be an NFT. So I just thought about that and I said, oh my God, this arena, this crypto arena gives so much possibility. I mean, it's so many options, and we cannot miss this window of time. We cannot miss this window of time. So go Bulls.
Oh, yeah. I got you there. So it seems like we need to talk to somebody from the Bulls, the Cubs, White Sox, get them on NFTs and let them know that this is a huge opportunity for Chicago. But even outside of that, what other innovations do you see in the crypto space that interest you that could possibly help Chicago long term, Michelle? What are you seeing out there?
Well, I guess this is kind of generalized, but there's many things that are happening in the world, and I do believe that the blockchain really helps us have transparency. And I believe having blockchain technology in law enforcement will be, something that it can be life-changing, because again, you have one person say one thing and another person say another thing, but the blockchain brings truth. So I just think that it can be bring justice in reference to the right blockchain being applied to this particular sector. So, and that's what's really, really near and dear to my heart, because I'm from the inner city. I saw so many things. I'm not saying everything was bad, because it made me who I am today, but definitely blockchain technology in law enforcement, I think, could be in many different areas of law enforcement can be very, very valuable.
Oh yeah, accountable policing. Love to hear it. And Phil, what are some of the innovations you see coming forward that could possibly be impacting in Chicago using Bitcoin and blockchain technology?
Well, I'm going to say anything that contributes to what I like to call the last millimeter, right? And so what does that mean? Like in telecoms, we always talk about the last mile, right? How do we wire neighborhoods? How do we, get them connected to broadband? When it comes to blockchain, I think about the last millimeter. That is to say, the user interface piece of it, I still think needs a lot of work. And that is everything from the point of sale piece to how we manage it on our phones. Anything that makes it more accessible and easier to use. And I'll throw in the added challenge of, I really do think that at least part of it will have to do with a how do I want to put this? I fire up many crypto wallets. And the user experience is scarcely better than the experience I have with like the Citibank app, right? Yeah. And as it from that perspective, right? And I don't know, but I'm sure, and I hope people are figuring this out and looking at it, because it's the accessibility piece on top of the education piece that was brought up earlier that I think is going to make this more successful. But we just have to show from an interface perspective that we can do better and make it look better and more inclusive. So.
Oh yeah, and that ties in directly with the community. Good user experience. You have the community use it, they accept it and use it long term. So I'm with you there, definitely. And I want to finish up here with one last question for you each. I'll start with you, Michelle. It's the year 2040. We may have flying cars or whatever, but in the crypto industry specifically, where do you see us, and where do you see Chicago in that industry?
Oh, definitely. I basically see every sector on the blockchain. I mean, literally everything on the blockchain. Even this conversation that we're having will be on the blockchain. So, and even with Chicago, hopefully, and I think they will, but they're pretty good at innovation, I believe. So I think, we have, like I said, the different sectors on the blockchain. Even I think it will be so easy using our phone, our devices in reference to purchasing items and services and things of that nature. So physical cash will be the thing of the past. Yes, it will. And technology will have our smart cities. Which they're building up right now. We have all these different infrastructures that's basically taking place right now. So basically, I remember the Jetsons. And now I remember Judy Jetson was on her TV or whatever. It was like FaceTime. So we passed our technology advances so much. So again, smart cities, cashless society, being able to use our phones to make purchases, and everything will be on the blockchain. Every single thing. Yes.
Love it. Love it. So no cash and interoperable blockchains. All right. Perfect. So, so Phil, next, just to you, year 2040, what do you got? What's crypto industry going to look like?
All right. My view from the flying car is that we will know we are successful when a lot of the terms that we are talking about right now completely disappear, right? So, for example, email is done via the SMTP protocol. You don't have to think about it. You just send an email, right? And, really simple syndication, RSS, something that was incredibly popular on the internet in the mid 2000s. We use it every day. We don't even think about it. Right. And I think that we will be successful to the degree to which terms like blockchain or maybe even crypto absolutely disappear. And and our kids know in the back of their minds that there was an era of the internet that was less trustworthy, right? That was less reliable from an information perspective. And thank God we emerged from that age of stone knives and bear skins. And here we are in the year 2040, and things just work, and they're more trustworthy, and this notion of smart cities, which I think is really good as well, is going to be a really powerful change. So that's how we'll know we are successful in 2040, is that a lot of the stuff that we care about as enthusiasts not only just disappears, but hopefully we take all of that promise for granted.
I definitely agree there, because in its current state, telling somebody about an algorithm or a blockchain and block height, they don't really want to hear that. They just want to know, does it work? And I think by the year 2040, we'll definitely be there. And I want to thank you both, Phil Gomes of Bloq and Michelle Renee of Informative Services. Thank you for coming on Community Crypto and coming and joining me today on CoinDesk TV.
Thank you for having me. We soon, Isaiah.
Absolutely. And that's it for this episode of Community Crypto. Every week, we're building a global community with local crypto groups. So be sure to tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on CoinDesk TV. See you then.